sorry.
Gonna go for another pass because I can edit that.
Yeah, kind of dark. Is that okay? Maybe you should go stand over by the stars. Or close that. Nope. This is the door.
It's fine.
Okay, now you're good.
A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of the free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. That is the Second Amendment to the Bill of Rights of the Constitution of the United States of America. In our day and age, we have a lot of opportunities to stand up for our rights, especially in the current events that we live in, where people are constantly fighting over what the Constitution means, being 200 years into the formation of our nation. And I have put together 3 reasons as to why we should keep the Second Amendment around and why it's so important for us. 1 being protection, 2 being hunting, and 3 being defense against a tyrannical government. And so as I was going through this study and learning more about the topic, I came across a couple of things that gave me some information. First one going over protection. It said, through the analysis of the text and history of the Second Amendment, commenters sought to establish the Constitution does protect an individual's right to have weapons for self-defense, including defense against criminal violence that the government cannot or will not prevent. Meaning that when we have instances where we have criminalistic activities going around us, that we have an opportunity to defend ourselves, that we have that right. We shouldn't have to just lie over and take whatever happens to us, that we should be able to take our rights upon us and be able to defend ourselves against those who would wish to do this harm to our family and friends. That we have that right that is given to us through the Constitution. And while others would lead us to believe that that's not something that we have a right over, that others would seek to give us harm and we should just not do anything about it, we do have a right to do those things. And I believe many people would agree with me on that. The next one would be hunting. While the Constitution doesn't necessarily state that we have a right to hunting, it does say that we do have a right to pursuit of happiness, and that we do have the right to bear arms. And when you put those 2 together, it does give you a right. And it's been talked about whether or not that is an inalienable right guaranteed to us. And it says the preparatory clause does not suggest that preserving the militia was the only reason Americans value the ancient right. Most undoubtedly thought even more important for the self-defense and for hunting. Meaning, while we do have the opportunity to bear arms for our self-defense, we also have the opportunity to keep those arms in means of providing food and comfort for our families through hunting. Being able to also control the population of animals around us so they don't endanger themselves in the process. Hunting is a very important part of the economy, or the ecosystem, I should say, not the economy, of the world around us. That many animals depend on the natural predators of the world to come around, and we as humans are natural predators for them. And that gives us a right to also exercise a right that is given to us by God and by the Constitution of the United States. That while we do have the right to bear arms in self-defense and for other reasons, we also have the right to bear arms in the matter of hunting. And then the last reason would be to oppose a tyrannical government. While many people don't ever believe that the United States would ever fall to that, as we progress further into our nation, we have come into an opportunity where more socialism has been brought into place. The government has seized more control over the civil liberties of the citizens, and a lot of people are brought into question as to where, especially now, where the government has a say and where it doesn't have a say. And that is why originally the founders of the United States put in this bill, because they were fighting against a government that was overextending its rights. The British government was overextending its rights on whether or not it should impose further taxes, and whether or not they deserve to be able to tell them what to do and what not to do. And this is what provided the rights and essentially the motivation for the revolution to happen. And this source stated, many private militias are driven by the insurrectional theory of the Second Amendment. Under this view, the Second Amendment grants an unconditional right to bear arms for self-defense and for rebellion against a tyrannical government. When a government turns oppressive, private citizens have a duty to insurrect or take up arms against it. meaning just that any point in time a government takes a opportunity to oppress people further, we have a right as citizens of that government to fight against it, not to just have to be controlled and be oppressed in the ways that they have to. There's many instances throughout history where there have been revolutions against other governments that have been oppressive. There were just some recently where if it wasn't for the citizens that took place and were able to get rid of these governments that were being oppressive to them, they wouldn't have this opportunity to have a free nation. In the United States, they had this revolution 200 years ago because of that we were given the liberties that we have now that we hold so dearly to ourselves and to our belief systems. If it wasn't for our founding fathers and the other private militias standing up for us and letting us have this opportunity to have the nation that we live in, we would not have the constitutional amendments that we have. And it's these reasons that we have the Second Amendment. That's why we can do the things that we do, why we have the rights that we have. And as in closing, the only thing I'd like to add is that for those three reasons, we need to withstand any temptations that we have to get rid of the Second Amendment, regardless of what is thrown at us, that we have the right citizen, that we need to keep this right. And I'd like to leave it with a quote from Edmund Burke, who said, "The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing." And that is exactly what people will expect us to do, to do nothing as people take our rights away. As the government takes our rights away, that we will just stand there and let them do whatever they wish to us, that we won't have to do anything about it. And we'll just lose everything that we have, everything that we have in our rights, everything that we fought for, that our founding fathers fought for, all the rights that we have put together to have those amendments put into place to keep us safe and protected from whatever comes our way and try to take our rights. Because if we do nothing, we will lose them. And that's why it's so important.